surround. Everyone was crying. All the light was fading. Like the light's back now.
Hello, welcome to my channel for Evolved Humans. I am Ms. Day. This is a collective reading. Alright, so the first thing that I thought was actually really, okay, I heard a song, which is I heard the song Be My Baby earlier today, the oldie, that be my baby, and I feel like this was from a masculine, coming through. Again, I have heard this before and felt that same energy in these readings, so whoever that's for, it's really sweet, it's very endearing, it's very it's just so cozy. It's such a cozy place for you to go. So I feel like some of you may be needing a place to kind of turn your head up out of your own sorrow. I don't even talk like that, but I feel like someone's just really in a circle of pain. Okay, that's not everyone, obviously, but that's kind of something that I felt earlier today. That song was coming in and I knew it was for this reading. Okay, then when I was starting, I actually felt this, I heard another song, and it was an oldie. It's Tommy James and the Shondells, I think, and it's a very weird name, which is why I'm actually okay with that one. But it's I Think We're Alone Now, and it's that look at the way we have to hide what we're doing. I felt like that song came in, and I also felt in that same moment I saw that scene in Titanic, that movie, where Kate Winslet said that she felt like she was standing in the middle of a crowded room screaming at the top of her lungs and nobody even looked up. I feel like there is an inner child in you, whoever this reading is for, and that child, you had big needs that were not met, and that has nothing to do with judgment or anything on the other parties involved. But the biggest thing, it's like when I heard that song that I Think We're Alone Now, it's like I felt like that was you and your inner child having to hide and shelter yourself, because I think that you had a beautiful connection. I think that you were very spongy, and for that reason, when you got hurt, I think that you had big emotional needs that maybe were not observed by those in your space. And I think that you needed them, and I think they were falling and you needed them. It's almost, the interesting thing is I feel like the masculine is very strong in this reading, and that feels like it's from a very guarded perspective. Even the word guarded ties in with what I was thinking at the beginning. This I Think We're Alone Now, this is crazy deep. It got deep fast. It's like that song made me also feel like this is another feeling that was right on top there. Someone is very untrusting. Very, very walled off when it comes to actually trusting the intentions of another person. This is silly, but that's fine. There's a very old movie called Holiday Inn. I think this is the one. And the person in the movie said he talks about people because he wasn't trusting, because someone was being deceptive right in front of his face. And he was like, everybody's got an angle. Everybody's got a motive. But he called it an angle. That's what I just thought about. It's like you're very observant, even if you don't display everything that you've observed. That's what this feels like. I think that way back, your inner child, it's almost like you were running free. And then I keep feeling like I want to say 3. And I mean, like, I want to say 3 hits. And I don't know. It's like at this point in time, there are 3 really, really, really big hits, and that it feels feminine. It feels like it's from a feminine connection for whatever reason. And I think that your need was, it's almost like not having that filled hurt you on top of needing, and then you got hurt on top of that because you needed. And I almost wonder if you didn't say it because that I think we're alone now. Like, I feel like this is such a okay. So I feel like some of you have you're suspicious about other people's behavior. I think you're even suspicious about signs coming in. Maybe not all of you for that for sure, but I feel like some of you are suspicious about certain things being for you. Even if some of you, it feels almost like you're almost like a triggered type of thing. And then some of you, I feel like you've settled in this untrusting space of being very guarded and actually graciously accepting that certain things are not meant for you. And that's like, it's such an accepting energy in there. So this is like, in the past, for whoever this reading is for, I feel like you were kind of like shaken pretty early on, and I think that you had your perspective like totally shaken really early. And then I think that you became aware of your own intuition and being awakened in energies. Like it became indisputable. And I feel like whoever you are, when you were experiencing your own self kind of breaking free from those old ties, that I think it's like you started moving away from old connections, but not necessarily by healing them, more so just like avoiding connections and moving forward. So it's it also feels like someone took a period of time. I think that you had like friends. For some of you, I feel like you had friends and that made you feel cozy. Like it could have even been coworkers for some of you. And then some of you, I feel like you had some alone time. You took alone time after kind of removing yourself from really intense connections. And I feel like when you did that, there's almost like you thought and did enjoy the freedom. And then I think that those wounds, whatever those wounds are, I think that you didn't have anyone to talk to, and maybe you still haven't talked them out. Because whoever this reading is for, it feels almost like a current disconnect between you and your inner child. Like there's a gray area in between you and that inner child that had a more positive view. I even thought of Poppy from Trolls. Like, that's weird. But it's like she said something about she knows that the world isn't cupcakes and rainbows, but she'd rather think it is than spend her time expecting it not to be. I'm sure it wasn't those exact words. They weren't, whatever. But anyway, so going forward, it's interesting because the thing that's missing to fill in that blank feels like feminine, but strength. It's almost like there's a fear block. And that's where the untrusting comes from. But not only that, it's rational too. Like, it's not only emotional, but I feel like there's a fear block because there's an unhealed part. And I almost wonder if, like, the masculine part of you just kind of like, I don't think that you're necessarily angry at these past experiences, but I feel like you didn't necessarily address them, which is really interesting because you're still in there. And it's like, if you recognize that untrusting, this is going to feel, man, this is like, being untrusting is a choice. I feel so bad saying that because that's such a harsh thing to hear when you have rational evidence for not being able to do so. Like, I get that, but the way that this reading feels, it feels like you have to make a choice that is going to connect you with your own inner child. Like, there's something in there that's disconnected. And I think that it was almost like that throughout your adolescence, or maybe early adulthood, maybe both. And I feel like the message you're supposed to receive now is that the reason you didn't feel I also heard another song, and this is so silly. This is like for a couple of reasons. And on the one hand, it's silly and feels cute. On the other hand, it feels almost like a painful, nostalgic feeling. Like you're reminiscing and can't stop reminiscing lately and it hurts. That's not all of you, but that's some of you. And it's the song from the movie Grease, that tell me more, blah, 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 blah. Is that Summer Lovin'? Anyway, so it's like, so on the one hand it's silly and it's kind of funny, like in a cute way, like having these memories, and reminiscing and the fun things, and it's a silly, childlike connection. That's really, it's cute. I mean that in a sweet way, not in a patronizing way. And then there's the other part where it's like someone's reminiscing, and I feel like it's very painful. And some of you, I feel like you can't turn your attention away from it. And then some of you, I feel like, have had reminiscing flashbacks, and it's almost like you're flashing back, but you do not want to do so because you do not see a purpose in that. You don't see how productive that is. And this is where it's like, this is going to turn your inner child, make sure you can see my hands, like your inner child and your self now, it's like they need to turn and face each other, and just seeing each other is what fills in the gray area. That's what connects that empty space there. And that's where it's like, oh my gosh, this I Think We're Alone Now song, it's like, this is such a protective type of thing where, for whatever reason, you did not get, I feel like you did not have, maybe whoever you are, you weren't, it feels like you're not demanding out of others by nature. I feel like you're not demanding of stuff coming back. You're not demanding of much as far as like, maybe it's because you're independent. Because it feels very much like you have your own mindset. that's totally different. And this is something in this reading. It feels like they want you to see that that guarded version of yourself is actually like, you were guarded before this. It's like they want you to see that a lot of times you didn't feel like you were being seen in a certain way, or maybe you felt like other people thought all sorts of things about you, and I think they didn't. I feel like it was almost like you being so walled off that you were like walled off. It was like you couldn't escape it. And I feel like it made you feel isolated in a group of people. It might have been close friends. And it also feels like maybe it didn't happen right away too. Like over a period of time, like you felt more and more isolated in the same crowd. So it's interesting because I feel like going forward, a part of what it is, it's literally, it feels like they're just saying like to shine the light on the situation. It's like you have to stop turning away from the signs you're getting. It's interesting. It's like you're getting signs. I feel like someone is getting signs and it's almost like you're so walled off still that they're not coming in. But it's like beaming at you. Like it's just like light beaming at you. And I feel like you are an excellent like receiver, but you don't. It's almost like you're so busy looking away that you're still walled off. So the message for this, it feels so like, it feels like an acceptance type of thing. Like I feel like someone needs to turn inside and face, ask, you know what, this is interesting because I was working, this is interesting because it's like literally you have to turn inward. But it's not just about but at this time it's not about turning inside to block out other people. Instead, it's more like you have to ask yourself the right question. It's not about asking your guides the right question. It's more so like literally going inside of your own mind and your own vehicle and asking because that's where the gray area is. It's not out here. It's like the information is real. It's not missing. It's just where you see it in your brain. So it's like to connect your current self and your inner child. It's like you have to shine light on whatever it is that isn't moving. Like you're the only one that can direct that light. Crazy. That makes me think of like a motivational speech I heard once. And it's like this dude was screaming and it was very good for me. It was very harsh and direct. And that's why I liked listening to these things. And I still do sometimes if I'm feeling like I'm not moving enough. And it's like, it really got me this one time because this dude was screaming like, don't say you want it if you're not doing it. Like, what are you talking about then? That's just air moving. Because if it's not here now and it's your idea and it's your dream or your result that you want to make happen or it's your goal, then it's like if you don't do something, then it's crazy to expect anything different to happen. So it's like what this just makes me think of is that it feels very direct. Like they're basically saying you are walled off and we are here. Like that's something I feel like someone needs to hear, is that they are trying to show you what to do. It isn't that you're not getting answers. It's that you are asking the wrong way. It's in here. There is no escaping the vehicle till you're gone from the vehicle. So it's like you're here. and you have this time, and look at all the time you've already gone through, not feeling quite right in the places that you've been, but knowing that there was knowing that it was still orchestrated for you. It's like, and also, this is not all of you, but I feel like there's someone that has a lost feminine connection in the past. Even if it isn't like they wounded you, I think the loss is one of those hits, one of those, and I keep wanting to, I just feel like there are certain questions that you need to ask yourself, like, okay, why did I remember that? Or why did I think of that? Or why do I feel this way? And literally ask inside, because I feel like so frequently we're asking out here. Oh my gosh. Okay. And this is a thing that I wrote down because I said it in my members only content for those who want to connect better and they want different types of sort of more like specific guidance for that. So I wrote this down because I knew I needed to share this here too, which is that a higher vibration is a healthier vehicle. Like that, those two things are parallel. They are drawn to one another. So it's like the more you focus on literally what's going on in here, when they're turning your focus inward like that, then the sign is to go inward. And it's in that moment, that happens sometimes too, where it's like, I say a lot of the time, I'll say all the time, like, you're never alone, we're never alone, we're not. But what I do find interesting is sometimes it's like certain entities come in and then certain entities kind of fade away a little bit out of the light in your view for a moment. And sometimes it's like they'll come back and they're stronger. It's like they come in with like a stronger momentum behind a force, And it's like, this is interesting. I wanted to mention this too. I feel like, okay, some of you are experiencing past loved ones, whether they're your past loved ones or not, in your home, especially if you moved recently, and especially if there's a whole bunch of emotional stuff going on, and certainly if there's anniversary stuff stirring emotions. And I wanted to tell you that oftentimes someone needs to hear this. Definitely, this is not everyone. This is true no matter what, but someone is in need of this. A lot of times when I'll experience a past loved one at a certain time, and it's a large energy, and they've been gone for a long time, and I know that they've been felt by a lot of people, and that they're definitely a growing entity. When they come in, they fill the home. It's not like they're in the room with me now, so there's a corner and that's where they are, unless that's the message, which is awesome too. So don't fade out whatever you take from your experiences. I'm just saying in general, energetically speaking, when they come in after sort of a breakaway, it's interesting because as the time passes, they feel bigger and bigger. And it's like, it isn't they walk in like a physical body. They're no longer contained. So as you grow, it's like there's no cap. There's no top to that. So it's like having these shields around you and not knowing what's wrong and not seeing your own wounds and the spots that they happened. It's like they want the caps off for you, and you have the best possible example of that literally in energy form. So some of you, if you're feeling freaked out because something has filled your space, I kind of trailed off there, but if you're feeling freaked out because something has filled your space and you know that something is there, for some of you, I think it's a great grandparent or a grandparent. It's like someone's in there, and it's because it's a large energy. And a lot of times when the more intense their energy is, it's like the more intensely our vehicle will react. So like if you feel freaked out, just breathe it through your body and just like ask for the feeling of ask for it to feel less intense. Like you are allowed. You still have to live in your body. So just because they have no cap doesn't mean that you don't have your cap. Like you're allowed, you have to decide that. You're the owner here. So, okay. Oh, crazy. So that's another thing that I wanted to talk about. No, I'm going to end it there. Okay. So I hope you have a really good night. If this reading resonates, definitely let me know in the comments. And I appreciate it when you have liked and shared my videos. Very cool. And I love that. And I also do still like getting emails from you. About what resonates and what you're experiencing that's similar. It's really cool. So subscribe to my channel if they do, and I will see you in the next reading.